so one of the things that I found, I talked about lots of sort of science and studies about how effective medication is and when it is and when it isn't. But what I found most persuasive in all of that was what this British psychiatrist Edmund Sonuga-Barke said to me, which is that the medication is best used as a tool to sort of get through a crisis. And maybe that means years and years of getting through a crisis, but maybe not. That what he thinks it's most effective doing is when a family is in a crisis because there's a kid who cannot manage his impulses and cannot get homework done and cannot make it through a day. It drives everybody crazy, right? It drives his teachers crazy. It drives his parents crazy. It turns it, and it does become this sort of cycle of we're all yelling at each other, right?
To dance.
It's not good.
Yeah.
And that seems like something where stimulant medication can be really effective. Very quickly, for many kids, it changes those symptoms. It makes it easier for them to follow rules, follow instructions, get homework done, get to school on time. And that creates this real, the way Sonuga-Barke puts it, it creates this sort of space where the family can readjust. Mm-hmm. My concern is that I think for a lot of families, that moment is the end of the conversation rather than the beginning, right? It's like, okay, solved, pills, keep taking them. Now everything's better. Whereas I think, for lots of reasons, I don't think that's the right approach. Again, it's possible that taking medication for the long term is the right approach for any individual kid. But it's also possible that it can give you this sort of window where you can recalibrate things for your family. You can say, like, what are some other things that we can do to make life a little bit more calm and orderly, both in the classroom and at home, that maybe there are some underlying emotional, psychological things going on that we can think about as a family. And that maybe after a year or two, those symptoms have changed, the situation has changed, and maybe those medications aren't needed.
One thing I think is really fascinating is when I started doing this, this deep dive into ADHD about 5 years ago, the glasses metaphor came up of, if your child needed glasses because they couldn't see the chalkboard, what would you do? Like, you would provide them with glasses to even the playing field for them, because other kids who don't need glasses can see it just fine, right? This made a lot of sense to me, this analogy or metaphor. And I thought, right on. Yeah, like my kid struggles in ways that other kids do not struggle, and he could be achieving in life were, the playing field a little leveled here. Not gaming. I'm just like giving him a shot here to be at the same ground level. You don't like this metaphor. Tell me why.
I like it in some ways. I can see how it's very appealing.
It's very appealing. Yeah.
It's true. We should take care of our kids' problems when they arise, right? But I think it's useful to think about the differences between myopia and vision problems and ADHD, including the fact that we have a really good test for your vision, and we can tell when you exactly how bad your vision problems are, which we can't do for ADHD in the same way. There is no biomarker. There is a biomarker for myopia. We also have a perfect solution in glasses, right? We know exactly what works. It works for everybody. And that is not the case with stimulant medications. They work for some people. They have side effects. Some people don't like them. And so I think it's not as straightforward as glasses. And then there's also the fact that myopia doesn't change. Your myopia symptoms don't change. You don't have one kind of vision one day and another day or another month or another year. And what the research on fluctuations in ADHD shows is that absolutely you do when it comes to ADHD. And it seems like those are often influenced by your environment. So another one of the MTA studies that I found particularly meaningful was these interviews they did with kids who had been diagnosed again at 4, 5, 6. And when they were as young adults and who had found a new environment in college or after college,
Yes.
a new major, a new job, a new lifestyle. And suddenly they felt engaged and connected and focused in a way that they hadn't all through their childhoods. And they were like, well, maybe like my symptoms seem to have gone away. And it was making them rethink who they were and what that diagnosis had been.
Right.
And again, that does not happen unless you get LASIK. That does not happen with eye problems.